Yes, good day to everyone. I am Mikko Laaksonen, and I come from SEITATECH, and talk to you today about digital identity, IoT and blockchain, and how it all relates to future of payments. The original design of internet did not have any trust layer. And this becomes an increasing problem in today's business world. There are lots of trends that would need a reliable trust layer. It's predicted that in 20 next years, there will be billions of more payment points. For this to be successful, the payments need to be seamless, they need to be transparent, and the trust needs to be in place. IoT is another trend. We will have remote locks. We will have, of course, payments. We will have interactions with IoT devices instead of humans. New business models like e-commerce. The biggest obstacle for e-commerce trade is still trust. Buyers don't trust the e-commerce site, or they don't know if they can trust it. We have digital business models that rely on a very decentralized supply chain model. They will have problems on how do they ensure the customer experience, their brand requirements, the authenticity of products, and so on. Globalizations, companies need to or want to go to new markets, and they need to be able to establish trust with their new customers. And of course, the new data protection regulation brings additional problems. So there is a clear requirement to have better transparent layer of trust that provides privacy and uses digital identity to power our digital economy and enable seamless payments. Today, this is a major issue. So just a quick look through on the evolution of digital identity. Firstly, we had centralized or very siloed identity, which means that you have a service or web page where you log in and you need to make account there. And this you need to do every different service. The next evolution step was federated identity, where you can use this, for example, your social account to access another service. The third evolution was user-centric identity. It was never very popular, but it's a kind of reverse federated identity, where you choose identity provider and you use this identity provider to access all your needed services. The latest design is self-sovereign identity. It's the big difference is that no one owns your identity. You own it yourself. No one can revoke your identity. It's also designed for privacy. There is techniques called zero knowledge proofs that actually, even if you disclose information, you are still able to protect your sensitive information. Good example of problems in trust is, of course, traveling. And it has lots of all these problems. Different markets, you need to be able to prove your identity, you have a permission to travel, you have visa. There's lots of complication that the processes to verify your passport, your visa, and that you are the person you're presenting in a document. The growth in tourism is estimated to exceed the sustainable levels of the security infrastructures on the borders by 2030. And for that, World Economic Forum proposed for travel identity a solution. This is based on these four principles. First of all, distributed ledger for providing transparency, cryptography to sharing the information, biometrics to link the physical presence to a digital identity, and of course your mobile or wearable device to transmit this identity. So what about payments? Well, payments is basically identity, so all these applies to payments. The same problems. But what is missing still after identity? You need to have payment services. And we have now a new specification for data model and syntaxes on decentralized identifiers. This is published by World Wide Web Community Group. It's a draft, but it provides mechanisms to share public keys, to give authentication services, how people are authenticated against some identity services, and also service endpoints for decentralized services that can be used with your identity. Yes, so how it all could work? This is the identity ledger behind here. I will not talk about how it will work because I do not have time for it. But basically what is needed for payments in identity network is you need an identity wallet where you have your proofs that you have, for example, a payment instrument. And it's a bit simplified view, but this is how it works. You have your identifiers and your keys that are created for each identity you have. When you talk with, for example, with IoT device or any other website that is digital virtual payment point, the other end needs to also have verifiable identity and needs the wallet also. These two can kind of verify each other's authenticity and services that have available. And through the data model for decentralized identities, you can start doing payments with either your payment instrument providers or bank account or whichever identity or payment method you want to use. So, will the identity ledgers be the future of payments? Hard to say, but it definitely can be. It has all the characteristics that are needed for payments. Payment is practically identity. You identify yourself when you go to a shop with your card and your PIN. The difference is that there is a hardwired infrastructure. And now we talk about, with identity ledgers, you can build decentralized identity. It makes the infrastructure very much flexible. You can much easily leverage that and put new services there. Anyway, if it's not going to be done by that, we can still identify some things that are needed for global solutions in payments. And in my opinion, the three key principles are we need to be able to establish trust digitally, we need to identify people globally, and we need to be able to communicate with the people's wearable devices.